Jae Choe Show, episode 78 or 77. I think it's 77. Okay, it's 77. I'm here with Alis Drumgo. Welcome, my friend, to the podcast. Alis, you are with the CRA. You actually work with Nicole Travis.
That's right.
Correct?
That's right.
Okay. You know, when I had Nicole on the show, we didn't get to talk much about CRA. And that is something that I did want to talk about. And that's why I have you on the show, is to help the audience understand and the people in Lakeland understand what the CRA does
Sure.
For everybody. Can you walk us through? Yeah.
Yeah. So what doesn't the CRA do? I think it's, CRA is real unique because we do a little bit of everything from transportation projects to pedestrian improvements, shared use bike paths. We do housing projects, commercial renovations. We provide grants for businesses that come into the CRA. So, our real push is to spur development or redevelopment specifically to the CRA areas because they've been identified as areas of need in the city. Yeah. So Lakeland is pretty unique because we've got 3 CRAs and they kind of run back to back to each other. So we've got a Dixieland.
Hold on, back up. We have 3 of them?
Yeah, we've got 3. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. And I get to oversee all 3 of them. So, we've got, so they kind of work under one umbrella. So we've got Dixieland CRA, we've got a downtown CRA district, and then we've got what we call Midtown CRA, which is north of the in-town bypass, kind of up to I-4.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty huge area. Yeah.
All right. So you guys have money or have access to money.
Yes.
Give to either businesses that want to set up shop and flourish in the areas that you guys have, I guess, jurisdiction over, if you will, and it's not just bound to doing buildings. It sounds like it's like just development in general. Correct.
Yeah, and we like to invest it in the real estate because that's where you typically see the return. So it's not just investing in those businesses that want to come to the area, but also folks who are already there who want to grow their business. So say you want to expand right in place and you want to grow, we can provide some grant support. We require some joint investment from that business owner or from that property owner, though we want to make sure that you put up just as much money as we do so that we're just not giving it away.
So when you say you put up money, will the CRA have a stake in the business?
No. So we're not in the business with you. We're not like your business partner. We're investing. Yeah. So we invest in the real estate and then we back out. Right. So, so basically you're doing a renovation, cost you $50,000. Depending on what you're doing, what type of work, we can provide a grant for it up to half of that amount. So, so you might get $25,000 of that from us to go into your business joint.
So hypothetically, let's say, I have my karate school, and I said, you know what, we're looking to expand. CRA has access to funds to help along with that, but obviously it has to be in the areas where the CRA does.
That's right.
So I would come to you or any of the members and say, or go through an application process and say, hey, we're trying to do this. This is the project that we're going after. Will you guys be able to help out?
That's right.
That's it.
And I'll say that, you've got to naturally have a building, right? You have a building that you want to go into. You found that location. I'll use Midtown for an example, just because that's my baby. And then also the greatest area of need. But say you find a space around Parker Street, you want to go in, do a renovation. It'll cost you $100,000. You've got money in the budget. You can get up to $50,000 from the CRA.
Right. Excuse me 1 second. I don't know what the heck is going on here.
Sure.
There we go. Okay, we're good.
Okay.
This thing is now becoming the bane of my existence. This Apple Watch, right? For those of you that are just listening on audio, the Apple Watch and how it buzzes on your wrist now, anytime you got a notification, that thing is a double-edged sword. So like when we're, having an important conversation right now, and all of a sudden my wrist is, I'm like, okay, all right, anyway, I'm just going to take this.
I got you. You're good.
So, all right. So like Parker Street, you wanted to come in and do do a business of, if you found a building, that is,
Yeah.
or can the CRA be with a said business in the earliest stages?
Of course.
Right? Or you know, let's say, for instance, say, you know, hey, we wanted to set up shop. We don't know where, right? But let's say find a place of need that can not only serve the business's purposes, but the community's purposes in that area.
Oh,
right?
for sure. We do that too. And so a prime example of that, I think, is Yard on Mass. You know, they're on Massachusetts Avenue. CRA owned the property there, and they wanted to come in early stages, some business folks with a great mind and a knack for doing it.
Yeah.
And they said, you know, help us out here, help us get off the ground. And so we did that. And we got
That's a great building too. It's a
beautiful building.
Yeah. I had Jen Batts on the show.
Yeah.
When she opened up, and when we visited her a few times. It's nice. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. I love Jen too. She's like real passionate about a lot of things, community wise, education wise. So she and I, we vibe well. So yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Hey, are you Lakeland native?
No. So I'm originally from Texas. I'm from Houston.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man. But you know, I've lived all over because I was in the military. So I lived in California. I spent some time in San Jose, spent some time in Southern California, also lived in New Jersey for a little bit, went to college at Rutgers, and then I worked in Newark for some years. So, you know, I've been on.
You've been everywhere.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I mean, were you like in the military, like right out of college or before college, or what happened?
Yeah, pre-college, out of high school. So
you went to the military straight away out of high school.
Well, I took probably 6 months. I made an attempt to go to college. You know, I tried to go to college. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. You know, I thought I was going to be a pharmacist, man. Like I was on a complete, yeah. People don't realize. So I was a chemistry major. I mean, listen, yeah. I'm a different, I'm an eclectic dude, man. People don't realize.
Chemistry was my worst subject. I barely passed that. I don't have the capacity for chemistry. I don't know what it is about it.
I love it.
It hurt my brain. But you have a degree in it, right?
Yeah. So I was a chem major, and then I decided I wanted to change the world a little bit and have community impact. And so I ended up getting my master's in planning and public policy. So yeah. Just doing too much, you know.
Doing too much. Okay. But how'd you end up in Lakeland?
Yeah, so I moved to Tampa in 2015. And so, you know, I've got kids. I'm divorced, and then my ex-wife, she lives in Orlando. So I'm like, you know what? I think I need to figure out how to inch my way closer to the kids while maintaining quality space, right? So
yeah.
I saw this town in the middle here, Lakeland. It's funny because I actually came to Lakeland before I decided to apply for a job here. So I came here, got a feel for the streets. I hung out in Munn Park. I hung out around Lake Mirror a little bit and just kind of walked around. But most importantly, it was the drive-in on Memorial Boulevard that made me realize I needed to come. And I was like, you know what? We got a lot of work to do, right? There's a lot that can be done here. And there's just that side of town that really needs a lot of love. And so I wanted to come and have a hand in it, and it just so happened that they needed a CRA person.
You came here on a lark.
Yeah.
Your ex-wife and your girls were in Orlando.
Yeah.
And you were living in Tampa. You just wanted to get closer. You saw Lakeland, and then you're like, hey,
I could do that.
I could do something here.
That's right.
That was it.
That's it, man.
That's good.
That's it. Yeah. But I love it. You know, that's the thing is like, I love it. You know, I love the vibe. I'm enjoying the people, and I'm getting used to it. You know, like I feel like Lakeland is starting to open up to me a little bit. And so I've enjoyed my time here. Definitely.
Yeah.
Like, I can't go now, you know, like it's got hands on me
now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's tremendous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, you said you bounced around a little bit because of the military. Was that you grew up in Houston, as in like from a kid on through high school? Is that where you were at?
No. So I lived in San Jose probably the first 6 or 7 years. And then I moved to Houston because most of my grandmother was in Houston. I ended up moving to Houston to live with my grandma. So yeah, man. And then I grew up most of my formative years in Houston, and then from there, back in Cali.
I heard that Houston has a giant Asian population.
It does. It does. Like
It kind of weirded me out. I was like, what? Like
predominantly Vietnamese. Like
really?
it's a lot of Vietnamese fusion. Great food too, man. Like
I'm sure.
Like,
yeah.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, because I mean, when you think of Houston, you think of, I mean, you think of the Alamo, you think of
San Antonio,
Spears, and San Antonio. You think of football, Cowboys, and like, you know. But no, Houston's got a gigantic Asian population.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Texas has the most lions and tigers in captivity in the world.
But I wouldn't expect anything else from Texas though, because like that's how we do, you know, like we do a little bit of everything.
Like go big or go home is definitely Texas. And then of course, you know, you've got the opportunity to shoot from a helicopter, an assault rifle to take down wild pigs, because apparently they're a giant nuisance.
That's
you can do that in Texas too.
Yeah. Listen, I'm cool with the lions roaming, because I feel like that's how you tell that's how you tell your neighbor you made it. You know, you're like, look at that lion over there, right? Like, yeah. It's not cows and horses. Like, I got that.
No way. Of course, people have to pack heat when they're living in Texas, because you got wild jungle roaming the streets. No.
Well, Texas used to be its own country, so you know that's why I think that's why that Texas pride comes in, right? Like we're the only state that can raise its flag at the same level of the United States flag. So you know everyone else has to fly a little bit lower, and so it's true. This is fact, and so Texas is like we run it, you know.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. I do want to visit Texas, and that is a state that I've never been to. I hear Austin is so much fun. Yes. I hear Austin is incredible. Yeah. It's like a predominantly red state, and then bam, you've got Austin, which is like as liberal as can be. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm not a liberal. I'm not a Republican. I'm I kind of I don't know what I am. I'm not. I'm neither red or blue. But anyway, Austin is definitely another spot that I want to visit.
Austin is dope, especially the music, like music, food. A lot of college kids. You know, my brother lives in Austin, so that's the other thing. I think Austin is like a true college town, but but you know, it just kind of blends and it flows well together. So Austin's dope. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, lately in the media, and of course with all the things that are going on with the George Floyd and the protests. Did you go to the protests on over the weekend? Were you there?
I didn't. I didn't. Yeah, and I'm always like, I want to do so many things, you know, but I think that sometimes I have to be careful about the role that I'm in, and then also like I'm wondering if I should really take my kids out there, because sometimes things kind of, you know, they say if they do get out of hand. Like I hope that you hope that in all, like, things remain authentic and it's just a peaceful protest. But
I heard it turned out to be a very peaceful protest.
It was. And so what I did was I took my kids along the route so they could see what, like, and I had this conversation with them about it, right? About why people were protesting. And then I took them along the route to show them where people were mobilizing up along, like around 14th and by Lakewood Terrace Apartments. That's where it kind of started, and people tracked down to Munn Park. So, you know, it was a lot of people, and it's good to see folks getting out and protesting this stuff, because I mean, that's really the only way that, you know, the voices are heard, right? Is like, you got to listen. And I think we're at this point now where it's a tipping point that these conversations just can't be had in back rooms anymore. We got to do it out in public so that we can make sure we get the change that we need.
A public forum with meaningful conversation with good and kind intent. It is necessary. And I'm actually kind of happy to see it. I'm actually happy to see people are being open about talking about these things. Because if it's not talked about, well, guess what? It's going to be swept under the rug.
That's right.
Yeah. So. Hey, I'm going to ask you a question that I ask all of my guests. Okay, and you can answer it any which way you want.
Do it. Do it.
Okay, here we go. So, what do you want? And you can give, and that's a very open-ended question. You can give the very, very esoteric, heroic, kumbaya global answer, or you can give the completely materialistic, hey, I need some cash money to go get this right now. Like, you can give that money as well, or that answer as well. And I encourage my guests to give both.
Yeah. So
what is
okay? So when you ask what I want, I mean, I'm pretty simple. I want, I think I want like my kids and all kids to have a great life, right? Like ultimately, I think we as adults, we shape the world in a way that we may not necessarily realize that we're, man, we're like, we can be messed up. Like we're completely messed up based on our own experiences. And like, we don't have to give that shit to our kids. So I'm hoping to not do that, like personally to my kids, and to pack my own stuff away. And I hope that all of us as adults, we really pack our own issues away, and we help the next generations just like grow as humans and live a happy life, really, and not have to deal with some of the stuff that we've had to deal with. So that in general, like from that heroic perspective, I think that, like kids matter in that regard.
Right.
But in a roundabout weird way, man, I want to see some aliens before I die. I feel like they're out there, and I don't know if any of your guests have ever said that, but
this year's been the most whack.
Let me have it.
Ever.
Let me have it. If I'm gonna get it anytime, 2020 I feel like this is it.
Well, we had that a couple months ago when the Pentagon or some government agency released that footage from the fighter planes that were tracking these, unidentified
that's right
objects.
Come on, let us have it now. Let's just go ahead and do it.
You know what? I'm gonna say it right now. I'm gonna make it public. I believe that we've got aliens from the Earth.
Yes.
I think it's fact. I think it's fact. Because you can't have fighter pilots. They recorded it. It's fact that they were tracking some flying object that they couldn't get a hold of.
And they're scared.
It was like
they're terrified. Gone. They're terrified. They've never seen this stuff before. They're terrified too. They're like, oh my God, what is this?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And to boot, they're always uncovering like archaeologists and whatnot are always uncovering new pyramids.
That's right.
Civilizations in the jungle, using satellite imagery. And
do you watch those shows? Like I watch those where they're uncovering these the Aztec and Mayan civilizations in the jungle with the ground penetrating radar. Yeah.
Are you watching Ancient Aliens? Is that what you're watching?
That too, but that in combination with all the other the actual archaeology shows. This guy is like a real life Indiana Jones, and he's uncovering all these different cities, ancient Mayan cities, and so I love it. I love watching that stuff to see.
I like seeing these archaeologists talk about, hey, you've got these South American pyramids. Right, and the markings on those pyramids matching the ones all the way over in Egypt.
Thank you. How did they do it?
Pangea?
Different. No. That's different time periods. All right. So it's definitely got to be some communication or some artifacts that are going from this location to that location,
right?
In a way that people can kind of mutually experience those things. And I don't know about you, but they didn't have airplanes, as far as I know. So
maybe, like I look at, and I know we're kind of going on the weeds here, but I know when I look at the pyramids of Giza, how there's those three pyramids that are side by side to each other in the kind of a row, and then you look up at the constellations and you see the Orion belt. It's got the three stars.
Right.
They're supposed to line up with each other, right? And scientists say that if you wind back the clock of the Earth's history in years, it's like not thousands of years, like hundreds and thousands of years ago that those things line up. So we're like, hey, maybe we've been on this planet a lot longer than we think we have.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So I'm looking forward to like uncovering maybe some plot there, right? Where I'm serious, right? Just
it's gonna happen.
lay it all out.
I'm
We
crossing.
got 6 months left. Give it to me, 2020. Give it to me.
Give it to
I'll
me.
take it. Yeah.
All right, all right. Hey, so you're going to be the first recipient of a new crop of questions that I'm going to ask my guests.
Shoot.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and I've got 3 of them, and this is I thought about this last night at 4:00 in the morning. Give us your guilty pleasure. What is a guilty pleasure of yours? And it could be like, it could be food related. It could be a show and how you use your time. Like, what is a guilty pleasure for you?
Well, it's not even embarrassingly. It's a bubble bath, man. Like it is a bubble bath. Yeah. And, I'm sorry, but the ability to soak one's body in full form into a
Bubble bath?
Yeah, a bucket of hot water, and just close the door, keep people out, right? Like, I will. Fun fact, Jay. You didn't know this was coming. Fun fact, like, I take hot water from the stove, right? Like, my body can take such heat that I boil water and pour it into the bubble bath because the hot water is not hot enough. Like, that's how I get down.
Nice. Okay. Hey, you ever been to Korean saunas?
I have not.
Oh, man.
This is an experience I need, please.
Dude, you need to go to a Korean bathhouse. If you like the heat,
yes,
you need to go to those. You go, it's like Russian bathhouses, Korean bathhouses are very similar. You'll have the steam room, which is the hottest thing you'll ever experience, right? The steam room. And then immediately outside the steam room, you have a cold bath.
Okay.
Right? So you go from the extreme hot,
right,
and then you stay in there for a little bit, and then you come out and go immediately opposite into the coldest of cold water.
Very good.
And you just go back and forth like that.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be detoxing.
Detox, that's right.
Yeah.
I got to get these toxins out of my body. I drink a lot of wine, so I gotta.
You drink a lot of wine.
Sweat it out. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that is your guilty pleasure is bubble bath.
Bubble baths all day. All day. Yeah. All day, man.
That's hilarious. Okay. All right. Next question. Besides the bubble bath, of course, what would you say that people would be surprised to know about you?
Oh,
people that don't know you, or maybe they're just getting to become friends with you, right? Yeah. What would be 1 or 2 things that perhaps that they would say, hey, I would never have known that about you?
Yeah, I would say that I'm a total geek, man, and like that, just my love of science is one, like love of science and chemistry and biochem and those sciences. I would say the other thing is I'm really like, I would say that I do have somewhat of a hardened exterior structure, like, but I'm gooey in the middle, Jay, I'm gooey in the middle. I'm like those little Cadbury eggs or something, like I'm gooey in the middle.
You look like you have a rough exterior,
but
down on the inside, you're a complete softie.
I'm a softie, man. I'm a real softie.
Okay.
I'm definitely a sucker for, like, my kids get everything that I can give them. And then I'm always willing to help folks out. I probably listen too much to folks, I listen. And then
you're an agreeable person.
I do. Well, I won't say I'm not always agreeable, but I'm compassionate in that. I'll say that I have a level of compassion in which I really care about where people are and how they're doing. So, what I do is I try not to open myself up too much because I know I'll fall victim to it.
I got it. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I care too much, Jay.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's great. Okay. Last question. This is the $1 million question. Okay. You just pocketed $1 million. Right? Whatever, however way you just pocketed $1 million. What do you go out and get? What's your first purchase?
Oh man, my first purchase. I might get a good bottle of scotch.
Oh,
yeah. I might get a good bottle of scotch.
Yeah.
I'm looking at vacation spots, right? Looking at something tropical, so I can get out on an island somewhere.
Detach for a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
detached. I'm
You ever
definitely.
tried the Japanese whiskeys yet?
I have not.
You need to go
Like
try.
you sound like you're gonna turn me on to a whole
Dude,
a
let's
different level of
go,
Asian culture that I'm not
let's
aware
go to 61. We'll go
of.
over to 61 and hit up Emerson. And
Okay.
he's got a few bottles of there. I think he still has still has a few bottles of some Japanese whiskey. It's
Oh man.
delicious. Dang, it's so
Yeah.
good. Like it'll blow your mind. Like, wow,
Okay.
they did it. You know, like this is it's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
My favorite scotch is a Balvenie.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, Balvenie.
18?
So what's that?
What year do you like?
At 18.
18s? Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Balvenie. Yeah. So,
All right.
people know they would know what to get me.
Okay. Hey, Elise's birthday present. If you
That's
got,
right.
or you want to kind of grease the wheels, if you will, for the CRA.
That's right.
CRA, you know what the bottle of scotch is like.
That's right.
There we go. All right.
I make my best decisions on scotch. With scotch in hand.
The rewinding it back, talking about the things that we do for our kids and how we want to present the best versions of ourselves for our kids.
No doubt.
That's the toughest thing that I deal with. I'll be straight with you. That's I don't know about you, but I tend to wear my emotions on my face, right? Yeah. If you're a significant other or your family members, they obviously know you better than most.
Yeah.
It's hard to hide when you've been having a rough day or an occurrence, right? And as your kids get older, you have to start explaining.
Yes.
You have to start explaining what's going on.
Yeah. My girls, Jay, they pick up on this stuff too. And so, when I was working from home, we were all remote in my office, and they'd be like, "Hey, how'd your meeting go?" Or they see me come out, and they'd be like, "You're so stressed." I'm like, yeah, it's just these things at work, these deliverables, these things that need to get done. And so, I mean, the kids pick up on it, and they get it. And then they try to get you to unplug too. They say, "Why don't you just stop working or don't get started so early today?" Right? And it's hard to tell them no, because that they genuinely have your best interest at heart too.
That's right. Yeah. I get the same thing from my kids. My son tells me, I don't, he calls it being grumpy, right? Yeah, he just grumpy look on my face, and sometimes I just got to tell him, "Hey, this is what's happening."
That's right.
Now, and there's a reason to feel this way, but of course, on that note, you got to show them what it's like to recover or bounce back.
That's right.
And in an expedient fashion, I think is even more important, because they got to see you. Yeah, they got to see you meeting challenges.
Yes.
Right? Emotionally and with work, right? With
how you respond too. How you like.
And then how you bounce back, how you recover, how you respond. And I think really the response and the recovery are the most important parts, because they're going to do the same thing.
That's right.
I mean, they're going to, my kids are already doing things that are very similar to how I would do them. And some of it I just don't like.
Yeah, you can't. I'm
like, oh
no! You can't check out and put your head down, right? Like, because then the kids will start doing that when they hit those challenges too. So they need to watch you put in the extra time too, because sometimes that's what it'll take to meet an objective. That hey, I'm working at 10 p.m. because this needs to get done before tomorrow morning, and one day you might have to do this too.
Yeah. You're here.
No excuses.
Hey man, thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate you letting us know what you do and the CRA, and you and I will be looking out for aliens.
Aliens and whiskey. Aliens and whiskey, right?
Right. All right, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Jay. You have a good one. Thanks for having me.